development, and we're looking at HTML in today's video. Introduction to web development. At the end of the session, you will be able to understand the parts of a website, the development jobs that are associated with web development, the definition of the terms HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You will know how a web page is viewed on the web using a web browser, and we'll be looking at the introduction to HTML. Now, a website has two parts. We have the front end and the back end. The front end deals with the client side, which is the user interface. What does the user see um, on his browser? And we use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for the front end. For the back end is the server side, and it powers the front end. It deals with the logic, it deals with the database, and also the application program interface that is abbreviated APIs. The front end prioritizes the design and user experience, but the back end ensures functionality and adds data management. Together, both the front end and the back end complete to form an application program interface. Now, here we have the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript, and this is for the front end development. Now let us look at the different jobs that are associated with web development. We have the front end development, the person who specializes in the front end development. We could have another person who specializes in the back end development. And we have the full stack development, which is a combination of both the front end and back end. So depending on the size of the company and the type of programming that the company specializes in, you could have either a front end developer, a back end developer, or a full stack developer. All right, so we've been looking at the terms HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Let us now define what these terms mean. So HTML means hypertext markup language. CSS means cascading style sheet. Now, the hypertext markup language defines the structure of web pages, while the CSS, which means cascading style sheet, web pages are styled using CSS to make them look pretty. JavaScript gives the web pages functionalities. For example, the user can like a tweet or like a video, or they can download a video if they're on YouTube. Now, let us use an analogy to explain the three concepts that we spoke about a while ago, which is the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. So here we have the chassis for a automobile, right? And using the HTML as an example would set out the different placement of the different components for this car. So we would have the chassis, then we have the wheels fitted to it, then we would have the engine, the seats, and the shell of the car, okay? Here we have an example of an illustration and analogy to explain the CSS. So here we have the car, which we made in the first slide, right? And what up now, we have this car technician is applying some detailing to the car. Here's a before image on the left, and here's a finish automobile on the right. So the CSS gives the car the beautification, the appearance, enhance the appearance of the car so that it looks beautiful. Okay. And here now we have the JavaScript, right? So the JavaScript would give the web page some functionality, right? So here we have our finished car, and in there we assume that there's a button that when you press it, you get some functionality, and here the doors open vertically, okay? All right, now let us look at a computer-based example now. Here I have my YouTube um banner at the that is displayed at the end of this video, which was entitled the while loop, right? So the HTML would have set out where the different components will be placed on the bottom of the video, right? So you have the name, here I have my logo, the name of the site, the number of subscribers, and the different features that are associated with the YouTube platform. Now, once you determine where these features will be located on the web page, then you can now use the CSS to style it. So we could, for example, bold the title while loop. And also, if you look at my logo here, my logo is a rectangular shaped logo. You could use the CSS to give it a different appearance. So my original logo was rectangular, and here on the YouTube channel, it is circular, right? So I uploaded this rectangular logo, and YouTube formatted it using maybe CSS so that it is round, right? So here I give you another example. So we can use the CSS to change the different appearance of the different components of my these features below my YouTube video, which was entitled the while loop, right? And also you could have used the CSS to put this red margin around it if you choose to do so. Now the JavaScript would give the YouTube page some functionality. So when somebody likes a video and clicks on this icon here that resembles a thumbs up, then this likes would be incremented, okay? And also if the person wants to click share or download, it would give the web page some functionality, okay? All right. Now JavaScript is a programming language. However, CSS and HTML are not programming languages, right? So a programming language allows decisions to be made based on certain inputs. So on the previous example that I gave you, when the person click on this thumbs up, the the number of likes would have been incremented by one every time this icon is clicked using the mouse. All right. So CSS is a styling language. HTML is a markup language. Okay. Now, how do you view information on the web using your browser? You type in the URL, right? And here, for example, you can type in the web address, for example, https:// and just as an example, cadwithmrhugh.com. There isn't a website called cadwithmrhugh.com. And this is a URL. URL is the abbreviation for Uniform Resource Locator. The web browser can be used to locate resources on the web, such as HTML documents or web pages, images, multimedia files, and fonts. Introduction to HTML. HTML, as we stated not too long ago, is not a programming language. Web pages and documents are created using markup language. Elements of a web page are displayed and formatted using HTML. Examples of these elements are paragraph, heading, or an image. HTML is a main part of the web. How to make a website using HTML? You do not need a web server to view or test the HTML file. The file name must have a HTML extension. For example, flowers.html. A web browser is a program that enables the user to see and research information on the World Wide Web. Microsoft Explorer and Mozilla Firefox are some of the popular browsers that are used to explore information on the World Wide Web. The website's homepage is the index.html file. The index.html file is also called the root of the website.